YouTube friends and Prudence. Norma's just asked to go outside and Prudence came in. And so we have a new cat here. So Prudence, say hello. Oh, snooty look. Okay, you come down here. There. So hello YouTube friends, it's Sunday. And today, the day started off really sunny and warm. So I decided I would do my first inspection of the bees since the end of the winter. I know some people in parts of the south have been doing them already, but it's been too cold here to open up the hives and see what's going on inside there. It's too much for the bees if it's very cold. And she's a very affectionate cat, this one. All my cats are lovely, but you only ever get to see Norma. So I got all sorted and ready, and I went down to see each of the bees. I got the smoker going really well, just in case they were going to be a little bit cross about being opened up. And I have two hives down at the bottom in what I call the apiary, and then the top bar hive up here, which is just a bit of an experimental thing. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with that. And sad to say, one of the hives, I lost one of the hives over winter, but one of them was fine. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes with beekeepers. I was just lucky to keep one. So I've got one fairly decent colony, and the other hive, all the bits and pieces, I brought them back up to the shed to clean them all out and sterilise them so that I can use them again if I need to later in the season. So the hive that I have that has got good bees, evidence of the queen, didn't see the queen, but I saw that there were larvae there and eggs and so on, so she's definitely there. But it didn't have much in the way of food, and at this time of the year it can be a bit scarce. There are fewer bees because they haven't built up their stores yet, and there's not really a great deal round here for them to collect. Willow and snowdrops, that's the first early pollen for them, and the snowdrops are finished now. So whatever they're getting, it's tree blossoms, and there's not really much growing here at the moment because it's been quite a cold time. So last year when I took the honey off the hives, I kept one whole frame wrapped in plastic so that just in case I needed it. So I put that honeycomb back on top of the this beehive in the top box there for them to feast on, and hopefully that will give them a little bit of a boost until the proper honey flow starts. I'm always, when you read the books about plant your seeds that now and do this with your bees now, I can always add a month to that because of being so far up north. So then I looked at the top bar hive, and there are bees coming in and out of there and doing whatever it is they do. And I'm not going to really manage that hive. I'm just going to let them be bees in there and just let them live there quite happily. We'll see how this season progresses with the top bar hive, but they were fine. They were absolutely fine. So that was good. I hoped that after that, when I came in and had some lunch, and I thought that I'd be able to get out in the garden afterwards, but then the wind got up really badly. And for me, gardening, I've got to enjoy it. There's no point in going out there and making it into a big chore. It's going to be hard this year because I usually have some paid help in the garden, and I won't have any of that this year at all. And so I'm having to decide which bits of the garden I can let go and which bits I can concentrate on. And so this morning, after I'd finished doing the bees, and I was quite tired from that, it's quite physical moving all those boxes and everything, and pretty stressful. But after I'd finished doing all of that and I came back indoors, it just didn't look like the kind of weather I wanted to be out in. It was quite windy. So I haven't been back out in the garden today, but I'm hoping that this coming week is going to have some really glorious sunny days so that I can get outside in the garden. I realise how lucky I am to have a garden at all. There are many people who are in quarantine, in isolation, in sheltering in place, in lockdown, who who've got maybe a balcony and a window box, or a view out of their window, and they're listening to me moaning on about my garden. I'm sorry. I know how lucky I am. It was a big jump, Prudence. From there to there, big jump. Go and settle down now. Yeah, I know how lucky I am. I never take that for granted. So that was my day today, because what is it now? 6 o'clock? Yeah, something like 6 o'clock. And I'm just finished now for the day. I'm gonna make some supper, settle down with some dishcloth knitting. I need to find some more interesting knitting, because although these dishcloths, no, they're not dishcloths now, they're face cloths. I've decided they're too nice to be dishcloths, they're face cloths. So although they're easy to knit, I need something a little bit more challenging, and I need to look for some nice patterns. I tell you what I've had to do. I've had to go digging around. I finally found it, because I used to have longer hair than this, and I used to have a hairbrush, but I've dug out my hairbrush now so that I can brush this hair as it's getting longer. It's not that long yet, but it will get longer. I had a lovely text from my hairdresser today, because she's my hairdresser, but she's a lovely friend as well, and she was just asking how I was doing, and saying that don't worry, you know, as soon as she can get back to work, she will. And I can imagine, can you imagine all the people who are going to be making appointments with her and all the other hairdressers with their hair, all their, if you dye your hair, all your roots will be weird, and if you have colours put in and all of that, your hair will be its natural colour again. It'll be long, you know, whatever, it'll all grown out. So I reckon she's going to have her work cut out when I turn up, because it's going to be shear it right down to the roots. So yesterday I was telling you, wasn't I? I think the reason why I was telling you about this was because it was about keeping my sanity, about not making more than one video a day. That's what I did there. And I was talking about how I read this book, which is my New Zealand journal, over on the Patreon channel for everybody, for every patron from every level, as my Christmas gift to the whole patron community, which is lovely. Anyway, I thought I'll just go and have a look at one or two of them, just to see, you know, if I'm recommending something that's nice to watch, because I haven't looked at them. I don't usually watch them back, but I thought I'll go and have a look at one. Well, my hair's nice and short, really short. That's exactly how I like my hair, how it is in those little videos. So I'm a little bit fed up with it. I mean, it looks all right at the moment, because I found my hairbrush. I've just been down to collect the eggs, 6 o'clock, and I've just been down to feed them so that they'll all go up to roost with a nice full tummy or crop. and I've just collected the eggs. Now, these hens, up until the run was made a week ago by Anthony and Jack, were just laying their eggs anywhere they wanted to. They were laying under bushes, they were laying just anywhere. But look at what I've just collected. Aren't they great? So now my son and his wife will have eggs. My daughter and their little family, if they want eggs, I mean, it's a bit of a drive for them, and we're not really supposed to drive, but if they're coming over here for some other reason and they could collect eggs, there's eggs for them. There's also my 3 neighbours across the other side of the dam there who like them. And so I now have eggs to share, which is absolutely lovely. And aren't they lovely colours and shapes? Little tiny bantam eggs, and the beautiful blue ones from Miss Abigail and Miss Elizabeth. So guys, I am going to just wind up this little chat now. I watched the news this morning. I try to watch one news bulletin a day and no more, because sometimes I can watch one and then I can search around and watch another and see a different take on it, or what's this newspaper saying, or whatever. And what I find if I do that is that I get into a total spiral of depression, really. I mean, it's pretty depressing, the situation we're in, but we have to remember that what we're doing by staying indoors, by socially distancing, by keeping this lockdown intact, by not going out on unnecessary trips, we are helping to curtail the spread of this pernicious virus. And it means that the reason why we need to do that for the health of everybody, saving lives, but we need to do it more than anything for the health service, our wonderful NHS, who are, I mean, they're doing things now like third year nursing students now are being fast tracked so that they can work. Doctors who've been in retirement are being asked to come out of retirement. They're building these Nightingale hospitals in something like 4 or 5 or 6 different cities around the country in huge, I mean, I went to the NEC in Birmingham to go to the Festival of Quilts. Well, the NEC there now, and I remember how big that place is, it's enormous. Well, it's now a field hospital filled with beds after beds after beds and staff and all the facilities that they need. And so this effort that we're all making to stay indoors, to stay socially isolated, to flatten the curve, to keep our health professionals safe, will have benefits in the long term. And I know that as the weather gets better, the temptation to get outside there is going to be very, very great. And I know that I'm very fortunate to be able to go outdoors and be completely on my own. And so I just wish everybody well, whatever your situation is. What I would say is come and join us all on the lime green sofa. It's right here. It's this fantastic sofa that spreads all the way around the world. And with the pink cushions and the patchwork footstools, the snacks that keep getting passed down, the cups of tea, you bring your knitting, bring your sewing, bring your crocheting, bring whatever you want to bring, and be sociable and friendly. Down in the comments there, that's where all this community that we're building together here, that's where they all are. And I know that it sounds like a bit fantastical, doesn't it? My sofa and all you guys on it and so on. But actually what I really mean is we have these things in common, whatever it is that ties us together, that brings you to the last homely house, whatever it is. Let's find that commonality and be friendly and supportive and kind to one another so that we can ride this one through. And so I never say this, I haven't said this for the longest time, but if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't enjoyed it, you can give it a thumbs down, because YouTube still recognise that as an engagement. You didn't know that, did you? It doesn't actually affect me at all. And press the subscription thing and the notifications bell so that you won't miss when I post these. I am trying to post these daily, with the exception of Friday. Explained why yesterday. And I'm also trying to keep going with uplifting content. And so if you are enjoying it here, then let me know. Subscribe. The subscriber numbers are growing beautifully, and it's so nice to see that we're collecting together a bunch of like-minded people here on the lime green sofa. So I want you to look after yourselves wherever you are. Eat well if you can. Move a bit. And do some things that are interesting and fun. And don't be too hard on yourself. We'll get through this. We'll get to the end of this. And then we'll all come out the other end and see what the world's turned into. Something quite different, I think. Anyway, guys, I'll see you very soon. And thanks so much for watching.